Hello, pizza people, and welcome to the Pizza Party. My name is Troy, and I make DIY videos. Visit my website at troysweb.com for links to my other channels. I make content in a variety of categories, genres, and niches as required by the YouTube algorithm. So, if you'd like to help me, make more videos, please subscribe to the channel, click that like button, and leave a positive comment. Thanks for watching. Let's party. Now, I am currently, making some weird pizzas. This is the year 2023 when, as I mentioned in a previous video, year 2022, that I was experimenting with pizza to try. I was fooling around to find out, and started making videos and didn't really care for what I was putting out. But I decided that, hey, at some point, dude, you got to jump off the cliff. Do something even if it's wrong. Okay, we've covered that in previous videos. If you haven't heard that, go back on my channel and look at my video history. It was in one of my first 2 or 3 videos. But anyway, I want to show you that the pizza on the left here, if you notice this beautiful little crispy critter crust, that's because it's 100% Parmesan cheese. Then it's got, Parmesan cheese. Then it's got 5 blend Italian cheese. Then it's got sauce. Then it's got some pizza blend cheese, which is a combination of mozzarella and mild cheddar or medium cheddar, I think. And then, of course, it has, you can see some green peppers on there, and then pepperonis. Now, these, I think, are they're too small to be the deli style pepperonis. I think these are still the Great Value or Hormel, little tiny, thin, greasy pepperonis. But you know what? I'm here to tell you. I put that Parmesan in a frying pan. Do I have pictures of that? No, I do not. I put that Parmesan, just piled it into a little 8-inch frying pan that I have. And once it started to bubble halfway down and I could see the bottom was turning crispy, I went ahead and scooped it with a spatula, flipped it over, let that bottom side brown a little bit, then I put it onto a cooling rack. After it cooled a small amount, I went ahead and started piling on the condiments. The concrete that builds a pizza. Cheese and sausage, or sauce, cheese, and then meat and some pepperonis, or some, green peppers. That's what I mean. Bell peppers. So that's the pizza on the left. On the right-hand side, I was kind of in the same thing, same mode of I want to make a low-carb pizza. That was the whole point of making that pizza on a instead of pizza dough and a pizza crust, it was a crust was made out of pure Parmesan cheese. And honestly, that's good, salty, hard cheese, man. It got really crispy. It was delicious. I kind of wanted to fold it in half like a taco, but it wasn't having that. It would break. So on the right-hand side of the screen, I've got a 9x9 Pyrex glass casserole dish that I covered with tinfoil. Actually, I made 2 of those. Oh wait, no, that's wrong. So let's just go through these in order. These are pizzas on a flour tortilla. So I went ahead and I threw my tortilla in that 8-inch frying pan. It was a medium flour tortilla. I had some olive oil in there. I got that a little crisp or a little color. Flipped it over, got it a little color. Pulled it out, threw it on the rack. Put a bunch of cheese and sauce and peps on there. Then I put that in the oven. And, whoops. These were actually really, really good. It's like I was going for the ultimate thin crust and also very, very low carb. So this was my whole low carb phase. And there's that 9-inch by 9-inch Pyrex casserole dish I was talking about. And I, jammed tinfoil in there. But what I failed to do was lubricate the tinfoil appropriately. I should have used a spray like Pam, because the tinfoil is all so wrinkly as a result of jamming it into that 9x9 pan. And this was a bitch to release from that casserole dish. But I did get it done. I did lose a lot of the nice, beautiful, crunchy, crusty, cheesy perimeter. As you can see, it's much less done in the center, much more done around the edges. And I tell you what, that was an extremely good pizza with nothing more than cheese, Parmesan cheese, as the crust of that entire pizza. So I laid down parm. I heated it up a little bit so that it would kind of like glue itself together as a result of the heat, melt itself together. Then I threw in sauce. Then I threw in more cheese. Then I threw in green peppers, bell peppers. Then I threw in onions. Then I threw in more cheese and more sauce. And then I put, well, I guess more sauce on top of the veggies and then more cheese. And then I put on the pepperonis. So yeah, that was a really good pizza. Even though it was a pain in the butt, I've learned my lesson not to do it this way. Well, I would like to do it this way again. I would love to make another Parmesan cheese. Dude, it's not cheap. Like a bread crust pizza is so much cheaper than a Parmesan cheese crust pizza because you burn up a whole bag. On that pizza on the left, that was basically a whole bag of parm. And this other one, it was another whole bag of parm. Or it was 2 bags of parm between the two of them, and those are 6-ounce bags of parm. So anyway, here's the Italian style stuff that I used, and apparently this is a leftover Italian sausage that I had after making some other pizzas, and I covered it in garden. Like I was trying to figure out any way possible to use up all the tomatoes that I was getting out of my garden. So I was making a lot of tomato sauce in a lot of mason jars, but I didn't have a big old stainless steel pot to what it's called hot water bath can my tomatoes so that I could leave them in dry storage. So they actually survived in the fridge. That I left some headspace and they froze, or they got partially frozen, and they were perfectly fine after a year in the fridge. Yeah, seriously, I'm telling you. Anyway, I used up my leftover tomato sauce on an Italian sausage that was left over from making another pizza that we'll see later. And then I covered that with cheese. Then I covered that with pepperoni. Then I covered that with more cheese. Then I ate it and forgot to take a final picture. So I never got a picture of that coming out of the oven. It just looked so good. And this is a fault of mine, and you're going to find this in a lot of the future videos. I get to this point where it's ready to go into the oven. And yes, I did put it in the oven on that cardboard plate, but it was on that wire rack behind it so that it really didn't get nasty. It would be like putting it on it was almost like putting it on a piece of parchment paper. I should have put a piece of parchment paper on the plate. Then I could have lifted the whole thing off, put it on the wire rack, baked it, and maybe it would have baked a little longer. But honestly, all I wanted to do, I didn't really need to get that cheese really golden and bubbly. I just let it melt. I just wanted it to get melted with a tiny bit of color. I'm good to go. And honestly, that wax coated paper plate didn't even get gross. It was pretty good. A slice of Italian sausage with cheese, tomato sauce, and pepperonis. What's not to like? So now here's another situation. Whoops. Where I'm trying to use up all this tomato sauce, but I bought some store-bought garlic bread that already had the butter and garlic embedded in the butter and the parsley on the bread. I had already eaten a hunk of it, and then I decided I'm going to put some parm on here, and then I heated it up, and it was delicious looking. So I decided, well, I got to use up these tomatoes. I put some tomatoes on that small piece, and it was okay, but I didn't like it that much. So then I went ahead. I was going to put that Italian sausage on this, but I think these are kind of like ended up being out of order as far as what I was doing. Anyway, I ate the small piece with some tomatoes, and then I had the big piece with. I just ate the big piece because it was so good. And then here is that pure Parmesan in an 8-inch Teflon frying pan. It got to that bubbling point, and then it got to the point where I flipped it. And then it sizzled that side. I pulled that off, put it onto the wire rack, let it cool, and built a pizza on top of this. Well, okay, maybe not on top of this particular piece of parm, but on this particular piece of parm, I decided, you know what? How about if I make an egg taco? So I fried some eggs, and then I put it on the parm taco shell pizza pizza piece. I don't know what else to call it. And I tried to fold it in half, and it really didn't like that because the yolks broke. And I'm here to tell you though, eating this with a fork, that cooked, chewy, crispy, really weird textured parm was delicious, especially when it was soaked in a yolk. You can see that I spiced it pretty good: salt, pepper, black pepper, and crushed red pepper, and nice runny yolk. Man, that was good. I'm telling you, that was good. I was fooling around to find out, but that is what that original pizza here on the left. That's what that crust looked like, and that's what I built the pizza on. Was that this guy right here? Whoops, this guy right here. This exact style of a package of parm, dude. Almost a full 6 ounce package of parm, to let it get crispy, and then put stuff on there. Now, since then, I've learned a few tricks. When it's nice and hot coming out of the pan, if you lay it over a piece of kitchenware that is like got a curve to it, it will droop and then form into a pre-bent taco shell shape. So for me, I have this square Pyrex container, and I've done this, but it's hard to hold that Pyrex container up. I propped it against the wall and a pot and a glass and a coffee cup or whatever, and then I draped this melted cheese over the top of it, and it did dry, or it dried. It what's the word I'm looking for? It cooled off so that the cheese was able to hold the shape of a piece of taco. It looked like a taco shell, dude. It was a piece of cheese draped over this small, shallow piece of Pyrex leftover container with a snap lid, right? And that was great. So now I had a Parmesan taco shell, and I made a taco. That's not in this video, but you never know what you're going to get here. Like this, you're going to get a blank screen that I didn't delete, and then you're going to get the old coming up bunch of stuff that I haven't done yet, but we're going to do. Stick around, subscribe, like, share, comment. Thanks for watching. Keep coming back. Let's party.